It started, I think, with my blindness. The sagging flesh and shaking hands of age were casual nuisances to me, but to see those black and prevalent words slowly fade into obscurity over the years brought sharply into focus my emptiness. It was the endemic of vagueness that drove me to sleep. As a writer who couldn't write, the exonerative dreams were a new and colorful medium over which I could lay my wetted pen. In the last throes of the visual world, I took to the library. I became versed in the procedure of lucid dreaming. Then the world was white. I knew my death was inevitable, so I devoted myself to my escape. One night of no particular importance, I dreamt I was a young writer, and the means of my freedom revealed themselves. I had seen the writer just prior to my blindness, at a table of that frantic library, his eyes trapped in some book with boar haze running up the spine, making both of us, I think, the doppelganger. Conceived for my avatar a fantastical reality, blessed with all the indispensable frivolities, the perfect imperfections of life. Repetition, confusion, blinding emotion, progress, agitation, illusory significance, delusive endurance. Each day I slept longer and deeper, always returning to the writer. The vicarious writing desks of my dreamland danced phantom-like before my sightless eyes through all hours of the endless night. Through my creation I continued living, continued my writing, finished a collection of short stories about mazes, beginning an infinitude of new works. Reality, not yet wholly unconscious, wasted away like an old man on his death. I awoke with clarity. The groping nightmare swiftly dissipated, unintelligible, enigmatic, in the groggy light of the morning sun. The new day animated me. I saw the deceit of dreams exposed like the bloody knife of Brutus. I cast the heavy blanket down. I would restart life with a new vigor. I stood, filled with unfounded fortitude, conviction, preeminent words. The paper crawled back under my hand. The wetted pen did its familiar dance. I created worlds. The shrill tick of the clock, the crisp smell of the paper, the balance of the pen, the curving letters' black disclosure. Even the familiar taste of coffee brought me unparalleled senses of ecstasy. The labyrinths below my hand, therefore, overwhelmed space and transcended time. A year passed, then many. I ate, I slept, I wrote. My pen grew heavier, though never slower. I watched the wrinkles on my hand deepen. My hair made that compulsory journey from black to gray to white. The hurts of the world inevitably condensed into a cancer. The calm and studious young doctor capped my life at 2 months. In the face of death, my world became more defined. As if I were the archetypal prisoner tallying off my days, I could count the endless seconds, feeling each strike deeper as it passed. Everything was more beautiful under the shadow of my doom. Darkness, choking the air above my bed, was a bleak and crucial welcome one night when I awoke from a particularly fitful nightmare of suffocating cancer. I lay, breathing heavily, unable to see clearly in the gloom, struggling to remind myself of reality, when the apotheosis of synapses flashed across my mind. My hand, my arm, my heart, head and body, my world, smoke and mirrors, all of it, with an unparalleled sensation of tremendous ascension, my lungs filled with their last air, and the world was only light. I, Jorge Luis Borges, shook my sightless head of the last fragments of a most epic dream fizzling away into the night. Nothing had been real then. An ancient and profound sadness filled me as I became aware all my writings and creations existed purely within my own mind. I lay, imagining the ceiling I could not see, savoring the sip of immortality I'd tasted with connoisseur-like relish. I knew I could repeat the event tomorrow. The idea of living 1,001 lives before my enclosing eyes closed for good tantalized me. But if my lives were always an illusion, in the end, was it even worth it? I recalled with revulsion the feeling of tawdry fraudulence I'd felt as I'd realized I was a dream thing. In an instant of fateful serendipity, spurred by a familiar feeling, I seized the loose thread of the stitching of reality I'd created, and inadvertently wrenched it into oblivion. With a now accustomed sense of elevation, I inhaled and ended sharply. I drifted upwards and backwards, moving from creation to creator, dream to dreamer, and back again. I was Shakespeare, Voltaire, Dante, Homer, Adam. And finally, I reached my inception. I hovered over the waters of the formless and empty earth. For an eternal instant my mind had wandered. The seductive romance of mortality had drawn it on a fleeting tangent. Shaking off the last residue of my delusion, I spoke into the darkness. Let there be light.